This week on Sunday Girl, I have such a special treat. Tonight, I am talking to accomplished actor, model, and a guy who has recently set up such a successful photography and videography business. Listen, you're going to love this one. Everybody, please welcome Timmy Dowd.
Everybody,
Thank you for
very much,
joining
Orla.
me here on Sun. The sun always shines for Sunday
Such
Girl.
a beautiful day.
Isn't it such a beautiful day?
You know, when they say Kerry is the kingdom, it's
is.
a kingdom for a reason, guys. So.
It is the kingdom of nature, the kingdom of scenery, and the kingdom of fashion.
And the location here is just splendid.
Isn't it?
I know you can't see it there, guys, but
You have to trust us.
just-
We're
yeah.
looking kind of down the valley over to the Gap of Dunlow. So Timmy, without further ado, welcome.
thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for joining me. And just tell everybody watching a little bit about yourself.
Bit about me. I have travelled the world. As Orla just mentioned, I set up my own photography video business. So it's tdowdmedia.com. So I do a lot of charity videos, and I've helped raise a lot of money for much needed cares around the world. And luckily, thanks to a particular guard here in Tralee, Mary Gardner, she's like the go-to person to go to, and thanks to her, all the videos have gone viral. And one of them was seen in James Corden in the late show in America. So
And many views did that one get? Just tell everybody many views.
the
'Cause I
last
saw it
time-
on RT News.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about it and I was like, okay, that sounds great. And then I turn on RT News and there it is.
Yes, the honestly, the last time I checked, it was over 1.3 million, but it's on the Garda page. It's on my YouTube. It's on different pages, so I don't actually know how many, but there's a lot, and it's good because I just love what I do. I always tell people, if you love what you do, I know it's kind of cliche, but you don't work a day in your life. But outside of that, I do obviously do a lot of modeling, acting, and I've traveled around the world. And the
Yeah,
good
so
thing-
take us back to the beginning. So bring us back. I know I first met you, Timmy. I think we did a job together in the Muckers Park about, I don't know if you remember or not, but they're still using the picture sometimes. About,
Years
I think
ago.
it was, oh my God, yeah, he looks so young. But about, I'd say 15, 20 years ago. And you know, you haven't changed at all. I was looking at that picture last night. You were in a hot tub, I think,
Yeah.
isn't that right, with Reline?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so a long time ago. And then I remember then you contacted me and you said, I'm going, or I'm off on my travels. And
I was
take us-
actually,
take us on the journey with you.
when I was in my teenage years, I was in Shimsa in the Tralee Musical Society, and from that, I just, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm not. I like being the centre of attention, I love the camera, but I love it because I love the work. I'm not in it for, you know, fame, fortune, whatever. It's just
Or
I
money,
love.
or money. Don't get into acting and modelling if you want money.
It's a
Get into
plus
tech,
sometimes.
Get into tech and pharmacy.
Be a doctor, be a nurse.
I'm going to take you back.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring you to that Timmy guy 20 years ago when you set off. And where did you go?
First of all, before I wanted to go anywhere, I wanted to get my degree. So I have an honours degree in business marketing and event management. And that was, I still kind of work in that field, and obviously it's helped me. But yeah, I just love, you know, either clicking a button or taking a photo, or being on set with different people. And when I finished my degree, I went over to London, thought I was going to make it big as an actor straight away, and I got a massive wake-up call. There was a story. I went to Irish Actors Agency in London, and literally I had to do a monologue. They had a week to do it. I picked a monologue the night before, and an Irish guy doing Samuel L. Jackson's monologue of Pulp Fiction, big none. So when I finished, they were like, "You need acting classes." So I moved up, did some classes, got a lot of work, got an agency in Manchester, because my brother lived there, and then from that, you know, I just wanted to see what other options I had in, and then Canada was calling. So went off to Canada, had the bit of experience, or good bit of experience. I've been on billboards, doing fitness shoots, music videos, and you know, I got in a good agency in Toronto. And just from that, I've been in shows like Suits, Flash in Vancouver, Suits and Rookie Blue.
Okay, let's just roll up to Suits, people, because I know you're going to be interested in this. Timmy met Meghan before Harry.
I
This
did.
is true. This is completely true. Tell us about it.
That I was a regular on Suits for around a year and a half. I started off just as a featured extra, or sorry, an extra in features extra. Then I had 1 or 2 speaking roles. I played a bartender one scene. I was Mike's bartender, and then I ended up being a law clerk because I fitted the profile. It's actually funny because 1 episode or 2 episodes, sorry, I couldn't be in the scene because when Meghan was with someone else other than Mike, I looked too much like him, so I couldn't do the scene because they were like, okay, she's with this guy, and then there's another guy that looks exactly like him. So, but I had a chat with him after and offset, and they are the nicest people, and it's one of the best TV shows out there, and it's still running.
That's right, yeah. It is.
So check out season 4.
And is Meghan a nice girl?
She is really, really nice, and you know, the people say, oh, off camera some actors might be different. She's completely the same. She's so nice. She'll sign autographs. She'll chat with her fan club outside, because every time you finish set, there's obviously they're not. It wasn't a fan club for me.
I don't know if that's completely true, Timmy.
But all the actors, they're coming out and they took the time to sign autographs, just take photos with people, which was really nice. And yeah, that was before
she met Harry.
She met her prince.
So Timmy met Meghan before Harry. So, I mean, after you met Meghan and you worked with Meghan and you had a very successful run in working on Suits, what happened after that?
Well, the Suits in Rookie Blue kind of worked, coincided with each other. So the days I wasn't on Suits, I was on Rookie Blue, which that was a police show in Toronto, which is really good. And actually, one of the actors there, I forget his name, but I was chatting with him while I was off set, and he was. Have you ever seen Braveheart? I think
Sure
maybe
have.
everyone's seen Braveheart.
Yeah, sure have, yeah.
I don't know the exact scene, but he was that little kid running down the hill, and he started the whole big altercation with the 2 different the polar opposites when they came together. He was that little kid running down the hill. So he just loves Ireland, and I was on about Kerry, and he's been to Kerry, and yeah, he's obviously pretty big now.
I'm going to roll you back to Canada to when, look, a lot of times you talk to models and they've appeared in calendars, and it's rarer to talk to male models who have appeared in calendars, particularly those who did it for a really, really good cause. So tell us all about that. I'm going to share the picture as we're talking, but Timmy was, what month were you?
I was Mr. February, the shortest
Mr.
month.
February.
The shortest month, but I think it was
Was it a leap year that year or not?
Not too sure. 2013, check it out.
So tell us the whole story behind this photo.
Literally, there was one of the guys who was with my acting agency in Toronto. He set up, it was like him promotions, so it's kind of like a Magic Mike kind of show. I only did 1 or 2. It was practice sessions, and it wasn't really for me. But we did a lot of modelling and acting, and with that, everyone that was in the agency that played sports. He reached out to us, and I played tennis. So obviously he got 12 different performers, I suppose, or different sports personalities. Not saying I'm a personality, but I played tennis.
Obviously, the fact that he reached out to you, must have been.
And it's for breast cancer awareness. So I think you can actually still buy the calendar at the moment, but it raised thousands around the world for breast cancer awareness, which is great.
And tell me then, where did you, from Canada, did you go to America or to Canada?
Well, I did some modelling shoots in New York, and I used to live in Chicago and then San Francisco. This was 2008 to 2010, and I did some shoots there. The whole thing with the visa process was a bit annoying back then, but Canada opened a lot of doors for me, but it was cool because with my work, because I was also working in sports events. So with my marketing degree, I was doing all the social media, photography. I was in charge of teams at baseball games, basketball, ice hockey. I met Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z. They were setting up for a concert, so I met them. It's cool because a lot of people don't know the work that goes into putting up a stage. Because say I was in the Air Canada Centre where they have the basketball and then the ice hockey, and then there's a concert the day after. So like literally they roll off the basketball court, put up all the rings, then they bring up the ice rink. It's literally just on the platform, comes up, and then the next day they put down the ice rink. It's on a heated ground. So then they put the basketball court on, and then they put the stage on, and then they do that every 24 hours because there's something going on, and just seeing that was mind blowing.
Ray Stack, our production director, are you listening? Are you listening? When we come back for our next show, this is the kind of thing we're going to be.
It is. It's like it's a work of art.
Okay.
And they do it in because it's like a jigsaw puzzle. They know exactly where stuff goes, and within like 8 hours they have the stage up. Within probably 6 hours they take the stage down and they have the ice rink up. It's fantastic. But when I worked on that, I did all the social media.
Did I hear that you went to Australia?
I did.
Wow. So many continents are we on now? So we're Europe, we're North America,
I went to New Zealand,
and now we're going to. You went to New Zealand as well?
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was from New Zealand, and it was, they say long distance is 2 hours of a relationship, but I was in Canada and she was in New Zealand. That's long distance. So I went to New Zealand twice, which is good because when Suits and Rookie View were on hiatus, which is like a break for a couple of months, then you can do whatever you want. So I travel a lot. I love traveling, and the thing about traveling, you meet different people from different walks of life, which is great because then when I came back here, you appreciate the small things, especially now obviously with stuff going on. But it's just I always keep smiling. I'm positive. I love everything I do, and with obviously because of modelling and acting that I've done with my business now, I was the one being positioned for a photo. Now I know how to position people.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because it's so good when somebody has an understanding of working both sides of the camera. Yeah. I mean, I suppose in my own career, I started the other side of the camera where, I was heavily involved in kind of fashion and consumer PR and, events. And then as my career developed and we started doing fashion weeks, etc., I'm now as well on this side of the camera. So I have an appreciation of what it's like, and you do too, but even more than I do. So Timmy, after about a decade abroad, living the dream, and we have a little chat about that in a moment, you made the decision to come home. So just tell us a little bit more about that whole process.
Yeah, well, from Toronto, it's lovely, but it gets ridiculously cold. I was living in minus 50, so after that I went over to Vancouver, and of all the places I've lived, I highly recommend people, you need to go visit Vancouver. It is, if there's a picture of heaven, I would say Vancouver is the place. It is stunning. Like I don't drink, I don't smoke or any of that, so when I finish work.
And he doesn't drink coffee.
Yeah.
There's water in there. I am drinking his extra shot.
I asked her for protein, but she didn't make me a protein shake, but it's okay.
I don't even know how to start.
But in Vancouver, when you finish work, it suited me perfectly because I love cycling. As I mentioned, I play a lot of tennis, so I'm really in the gym and stuff. But in Vancouver, when you finish, a lot of people, instead of going partying, they go to Cypress Mountain, they go to Whistler, you go skiing. It's literally, there's nothing bad I can say about Vancouver. The weather kind of is like Ireland, so that's why probably I fit it in a bit more, because when it rains, it just rains.
Okay, so they have grey days too.
But then from there, I had a bit of trouble with the visa process because I travelled so much in America, Canada, so it was kind of a hindrance on getting residency. So then I decided to go to Oz, and it was actually cool because my friends over there on Christmas Eve, we were snowboarding up in Cypress Mountain, and then on New Year's Eve I was surfing on the Gold Coast.
Oh my goodness.
So
now listen, I mean, cool. We had a little chat about this off camera, and it sounds to everybody listening that Timmy was living the dream. But of course, and we know this from the world we live in, there is the highlights, there's the flashbulbs and red carpets, but there's also a lot of low times. There's times when we don't work, and there's insecurity, there's rejection, and I think it's always really important to tell everybody, about both sides of that.
Definitely,
point,
a lot of my friends and even my family were like, there's one poignant moment I'll talk about, but they were like, oh, you're living great life here in Thailand, all the different places, but there's some days, I miss my friends, I miss my family. My best friend is my dog, Alfie, who you've definitely probably seen in my stories.
We should have brought him up here. It's Neil would have loved it.
He would love it, but I'd bring him out the next day when we have the barbecue out here.
Yeah, don't worry. Listen, if you're watching the videos, you know that I'm being slowly harassed into having a barbecue here this summer. It's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. And you're going to cook the burgers. You're flipping the burgers for me.
I'll flip the bird as well. No, only joking. But yeah, like living all those places is great. And I said it made me appreciate everything, because you meet people from different walks of life who, like, they're not the poorest countries in the world, but Thailand and Bali, amazing places. But those people over there, they think we're royalty because we have, I don't know, money. Like, I'd say people from Australia, anywhere that you just can buy stuff, they don't have that luxury. And then you see, but they're the happiest people. Then you come back home, and people are complaining about petrol prices, the weather, stuff that it's minuscule. There's no reason to bring up an argument on it. You just should, I always say, appreciate everything you have. And the main thing for me, you know, in Australia again, I had a decent job in Tennis Australia, which is like kind of, I won't say a dream job, but as I said, I love tennis, and going to the Aussie Open was one of the highlights. But you know, family comes first, and unfortunately, my dad got pretty sick. So like, none of us, you, me, everyone, none of us would be here without our parents. And like, you know, no matter if you get on or you don't, that you can't change the past. But it was time for me to, you know, I decided to come back to look after the family, and like, I'm still living the life. Still doing the acting, the modelling. I took a back burner on the acting for a while because, you know, obviously you have to travel quite a bit for that. And I was lucky with yourselves with the modelling that there's a lot of gigs around here. But
person, and that's why you're such a joy to work with, is that Timmy will come into every single job, and no matter how long the hours or how tiring it is or how difficult it is, or all the stress that goes on that people do not see, you will always rock in there, big smile on the face, and you're very engaging, and you only speak in the positive.
Oh, I'd say because
some people speak only in the negative. You speak in the positive.
And a lot of people watch the news, and you know, I work in media. Everyone's in media, like, well, I work in our industry, but you kind of have to step aside from all that, because if you constantly watch the news, and like, there's so much stuff going on in the world, it's not good. But you just have to stay positive, keep smiling.
You have to kind of take, as you said, the situation that you saw when you were traveling, where people appreciate the little things. And here, as you said so rightly, we complain about the most stupid things. Like, we complain when it rains, we complain when our coffee's cold, we complain we don't like this, like that. And it's just irrelevant. Like, we need to start.
I think we have everything we need.
We do.
I know people, you know, if people weren't complaining, the world would be kind of a bit boring, because you need the people to complain to make things better, to make things worse.
And I wonder, Timmy, do we appreciate it more because we have been away? I mean, you travelled the world. I mean, I'm a kind of a blow into Kerry. I just adore it here, but I'm originally from Dublin, and because of that, I think I see it with different eyes. I appreciate it. You know, I mean, I'm having a day off tomorrow. I'm already saying in my head, I'm going to go down to Dingle, I'm going to drive around with Neo, I'm going to have a walk on this beach, and it has never tired for me. Like, after 25 years here, I still love it. I love every day here.
We won't get into the whole football dispute with the GA in Dublin, or
I still know nothing about football, unfortunately.
Literally, football is you have the ball.
I know
you
Paul
kick
Galvin designed
fashion collections. It's in the goal.
That's as far as it goes.
To be honest, I'm not great at football. I got 2 left feet when it comes to football. My first cousin played for Kerry, but he's the same name as me. But I'm the photographer, model, actor. He's the footballer.
The last year gave us all, and we talk about this a lot, we had a pause in our lives, and it allowed us to perhaps fulfill dreams. And one of your dreams was to set up your own business.
Yeah, because as I said, I just love literally everything I do. I love it. And you know, I have my down days. Everyone has down days, but the way I get over it, I just set yourself goals, and one of my goals was to set up my own business.
I think our journey through life, as well, as we meet and connect with different people and we see different circumstances, you know, increases our empathy. And I know, like, you as a human, you know, let's leave aside the actor and the model bit, but as a human, you have enormous empathy. And I think, you know, the charity work you do, sometimes I think people know enough about it, because you're a tireless advocate for so many different charities, and I know you do it with your compliments and with your.
I just love helping. Like, I'm getting emotional here. Sorry. I don't know why. It's all that.
We're in the middle of nature, and I know that is something else that you were so upset about the Killarney National Park.
I actually.
You know.
Don't get me started on that. Like at the end, I'm doing a script because I'm going out doing a report on it, and even just walking through it, the ash was coming up, and you could still smell.
That's Neo. I'm sorry.
He's
upset about it too. Neo's the dog.
But it's and actually one of my friends.
Tell us more about your charity work, because I know it's close to your heart.
Yeah, it's like I'm not dedicated to one specific charity. I just like helping. Like when people ask me to do something, I don't hesitate. I'll just do it.
So Timmy, I heard that you have a great Neighbours and Whitney Houston story.
Yeah, well they
not together, but apart, separate stories.
Like I said, I mentioned I did a lot of shoots in different places in America, and this one guy, like still good friends with him. I only did another shoot with him. I was in New York, working. Was the Christmas before COVID hit. So I went down to Miami and did another shoot with him. His name is David Vance, and fantastic guy. And his work is like literally work of art. He's got a lot of his stuff is in like table mats, and he's got like obviously billboards all over the place. And his models have been featured in fitness magazines, and I think he did a cover for Men's Fitness before. That's kind of a little goal that I would like to have, but maybe eventually, maybe in 10 years, I might be on the cover.
Well, the great thing, I mean, I've come across Men's Fitness magazine because it's obviously always in hair salons. When they again, I see it again, and they're not ageist like some other magazines. It's you know, unlike women's magazines that can be so ageist. It doesn't seem to be the same. That's a whole separate conversation now. So I'll let you get back on track. I also know that you're a brand ambassador for a number of different brands. Tell us more about that.
Would I just quickly talk about the...
Oh, sorry, I've cut you off on the Whitney Houston. So we're just going to go back to talk about the Whitney Houston story.
The photographer in Miami, first time I did a shoot with him was 2014. And I've done a lot of fitness modeling, and thanks to his help with the photos, obviously they helped my career and stuff. But I'll never forget, he was telling me a story then, and when you're in the studio, I felt like Robbie Williams, because you go in, you have all the mirror and all the lights, and it's like a proper like a studio in LA or something. It's cool. And he was showing me all the plaques in his wall, and he did the Bee Gees, he did Dan Marino, the NFL football player, Ace Ventura. But there was the plaque from Whitney Houston, and he was her main photographer when she went to Florida.
Really?
And it was cool because the plaquettes or the frame itself was gold frames. I think it was expensive. It looked expensive, but there was a gold record because I know she won an Emmy or whatever. Whatever she won.
Grammy, I imagine.
Grammy, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a gold record signed to David Vance for all your hard work. Because a lot of people don't, they know what's going on, the makeup, the photographers, the videographers, but they don't get the big awards.
Correct. People who make it happen often don't get the big awards. It's the person out front.
But yeah, it was
and
amazing.
Tell us a little bit about Neighbours.
And it was fun.
Part of all our childhood.
Yeah, I wish I got to go to Ramsey Street, but it wasn't filmed in Ramsey Street. It was just in a studio location. But it was a wedding scene, and I was one of the wedding guests. And I don't know the names of the characters. I was just chatting them off camera, but it was good. It was just dancing, having a little chat.
Well, it's an iconic soap opera. Is it still on? I used to watch it when I was in college, which was 200 million years ago. And it's still on.
Actually, I was trying to get in with the agency who casts all the main actors for it, but I needed a bit more acting help.
I doubt that, Timmy.
I needed to get my Australian accent for one.
Tell us just, because you can see that the sun is going in and down, so we're just going to have a little chat about some of your kind of the present tense.
Yeah.
So we've talked about your new business, but obviously you're still working as an actor and a model. I know that you're a brand ambassador for a number of different brands.
There's It was just through Instagram because I've gotten to do kind of vlogging and just doing live videos of different things that happened. And you know, some people have been direct messaging me just what's in my protein shake, just stuff like that. With a company based out of Los Angeles, they're sending me over one of their smartwatches because obviously I do modeling, photography, all that stuff. They want me just to take photos of where I go with the watch, so it's to help promote, obviously, hopefully more people to invest in their brands.
And you're also on, I've seen, like every time I go shopping I see Timmy on packaging for a particular, is it a protein shake? What is it?
Yeah, it's a vegan protein.
Okay. So I was just saying to Timmy, he could talk all day and all night, but we think the sun is going to go in, so we are bringing this to a conclusion, unfortunately, because I've enjoyed this chat so much.
I'm waiting for the barbecue.
I've enjoyed it so much. So listen, on Instagram I'm going to share a 15-minute video, but on YouTube I'll do an extended video because there's a lot of stuff that Timmy has talked about that I think is really, really useful to share. But Timmy, over to you. What do you want to leave everybody with on this Sunday night?
Well, I say to a lot of people, and I do what I want to do. Like obviously there's going to be let the haters hate kind of thing, but it's like whatever you're passionate about, do it. Regardless if it's a long process, I always set myself goals. I talked about being positive in every walk of life, good or bad. Like obviously things happen that you can't change, but you just have to kind of, you know, you can't change it, but just move on, and you know, just set yourself goals. Like write down post-its, put it in on your wall at night. First thing you see in the morning is the post-it. And then when you set that goal, set another and set another. Like when I was on about in London, going to the Irish Actors Agency, and basically I embarrassed myself because it was so bad. But with the acting, it helped me develop more maturity because I had so much criticism, so many failures, but every failure I bring it to my next audition. I fail again, I learn something, I bring it to the next audition. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, if you're a doctor or if you're an accountant, just bring that mentality to
and it's
whatever
never
profession.
too late to dust yourself off.
Yeah. Fail
up.
again.
You know, but I say to myself when things go wrong, I love the film The Matrix, that's what my daughter's calling me up. Yeah. But when I fall down, I always say to myself, get up, Trinity. Get up, Trinity. In other words, don't stay down no matter what happens. And that is what you were saying, is no matter what happens, get up. Dust yourself down, make the goal to be better, and it's never ever too late.
One of the hardest things, and I'm sure a lot of people can and maybe resonate with this, is, you know, when I lost my father. But we knew it was going to happen, so you know, we dealt with it, we moved on, and it was actually cool because anytime I talk about my mom or my dad, I get emotional. And it was my mom's 60th birthday, and she's such an inspiration. When Dad passed away, she was like, I need to get out of the house. So she went and she qualified as an SNA teacher at 60.
Wow.
And she got Mature Student of the Year that year. And on her awards night, I was doing photography for the night, so it was cool. I was able to do the photo for getting her award. So I think it was on the Wednesday she got the award. I upskilled as well, and my graduation was on the Thursday. On the Friday was her 60th, and she's never been outside of Ireland and England. So we, as a family, me, my brother and sister, we all went on a family holiday, and we took her to France around the French Riviera.
I remember the picture.
And it was lovely, and obviously Dad would have appreciated, because you know, it's like there was a lot of struggle when he went through a lot of stuff, but I'm sure a lot of families go through it. But again, we didn't dwell on it, we just moved on, and we have him in the memory.
I know. So positive, Timmy. You're such a delightful person.
Keep smiling, people.
You're such a wonderful person to talk to. I'm so lucky that I know you.
I'm just so lucky to have met you.
Sitting down, chatting with us, everybody, on Sunday, Girl. And listen, everyone, we're going to leave you there. And from both of us, have a great week.
Can I just say one more thing?
Of course you can.
You go, girl.